Well, that's not going to be a good spot for a couple of hornets in my yard making their nest. Especially when it's right next to my garden.
Hey everyone, Rob the Backyard Gardener here. I promised you a midweek update from my last video, and it's still a few weeks early, but I'm gonna be gone for the next couple of weeks, and I thought, you know what? I probably need to give you an update like I promised. I'm gonna try to give you a lot of what I'm growing in as short amount of time as possible. I wanted to point out, guys, that it's super, super windy today. I'm gonna apologize in advance. I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of editing. I'm hoping that the wind isn't a big distraction while I'm doing my update on my tour. So please bear with me, and I hope you like the video anyway.
We'll start with my potato patch, guys. It's coming along really nicely, and I'm pretty happy about it. You know, part of me wants to add even more soil and top it off and mount it off even more, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna add a bunch of soil in there that I'll have to pull back out later. And even if you go in between, I told you I planted corn last time, and it appears as though the corn is starting to come up in between. Now I'm hoping the corn that comes in between will get enough light, and then eventually it'll be a lot taller than potatoes. Of course, they are pretty good companion plants. The corn came up about 10 days longer than I thought. I think it was a combination of last year's seeds along with those 2 cold or 3 cold nights that we had, and it slowed down the germination rate. But to any extent, hopefully the corn will get just enough sunlight to come above the potatoes and then really take off. The sugar snap peas along this trellis are coming along pretty good. We did get some Blue Lake bush pea germination. Now I planted 4 in this back row and only 3 came up, so it looks like I'll have to sow another one here, and then another one didn't come up over here. And I was saving this room for some serrano and jalapeno peppers. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they still come up. If not, then I'll have to do some extra sowing and extra planting. I got out my Heirloom Tomatoes, as you can see. I put 6 right here, so we've got 6 different varieties all across here, as well as a 7th one that I put in this pot. So we'll see how those do. When it comes to peppers, I've got my New Mexico Big Jims. I planted 4 sets of 2 seeds, and 3 sets came up and 1 didn't. So we might have to move them around as soon as they get a little healthier. I've got a 7-pot bubblegum large, and we got 1 that came up. The other ones didn't. Chocolate Scotch bonnets. Both sets of 2 seeds came up, so I'll fit them out when I have a front runner. I've got some Brazilian ghosts, and those came up as well. Looks like 1 came up of each, and they're doing pretty good. I think these are pretty good looking little pepper plants right here, so I'm pretty happy about that. I also got my Carolina Reaper. 2 came up out of that one, and nothing down here. So maybe I'll save one of those and push it down a notch. My Aji Habaneros, 2 came up in that one, and 1 came up in this one. So pretty much I'll probably pull this guy out and let him be the front runner. Then I have some White Devil's Tails. 1 came up here, and then just recently you can see 1 just came up down there. So maybe he'll grow bigger and stronger, and we'll leave him in there. Wanted to show you that my cucumbers came up. These are the munching cucumbers, the burpless kind. So pretty good. I've got 3 more of my grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes here in this pot, just because I had 3 extras. I wanted to put them somewhere. You'll recall that I put those 5 out over here, and they struggled for a while, but it looks like they're finally starting to look pretty good here, so I'm pretty happy about that. It looks like they've acclimated quite nicely, and they're even just starting to get some flowers on them right here. So that's pretty cool. Looks like we'll get some tomatoes. The broccoli is still slowly coming up. I noticed I had some baby worms on there, caterpillars on there. I had to treat them. They already did a little damage only in a couple of days. They move quick. So we've got the broccoli coming up. My garlic patch since last October, I think October 16th, is coming along just fine. And the cilantro is getting thicker and thicker and stronger and healthier, as well as my other sugar snap peas are doing just fine, so I'm happy about that. Down here I did plant some ginger. So we'll see if that comes up. First time trying ginger. We had some old ginger from the fridge, and I thought, you know, let me just cut it into some cubes and we'll put it in there and see what happens. Who knows? And then that pot with those tiered potatoes is also coming in pretty good. Looks like they're starting to grow, so I'm excited about that as well. And then on this side of the yard, I got a couple of my cantaloupes coming in. And what's pretty cool is it looks like, see if I can give you a better look, we're starting to get a male flower or two. So maybe those will get some male and female flowers over the next several weeks. The basil continues to get larger and larger and larger. Beautiful looking leaves. You know, I never really thinned these out. I'll probably have to thin them out when I get back. But basil can grow in close proximity to each other. They just keep stretching and producing more foliage, and I'll just harvest what I can. My Heirloom Brandywine tomato over here is doing good. Those first cantaloupes that I put out aren't doing that well. You can see that those are the first ones that I put out compared to the ones that were in the greenhouse past those cold nights, and those seem to be doing a lot better. Sugar snap peas on this side of the yard continue to do better and better. They're all getting a lot taller, so probably getting close in the next few weeks as well to put some pods on. You know, I strategically tried to plant some snap peas on this side of the yard because the sun goes down first over here, and then when the trees get filled out even more so, it'll provide some shade and relief from the sun. I did put some sweet potatoes in the ground here. You can see they're just now starting to break. Not all of them. We don't have anything going on over here yet, but they'll come up. Oh, we do have a beginning of one right here. So that's good. The sweet potatoes are starting to come up over here. And I know they're in close proximity to these juvenile cantaloupes, but again, it was just an experiment to put these guys over here out a little early. Here's another Brandywine, the Heirloom Brandywine tomato. No flowers on it yet, but it's just about there. And then the strawberry patch from the runners that I pulled are doing really well as well. Matter of fact, just notice we've got our strawberry flowers coming in. So that's good. And then on that last video I did, I showed you I planted 4 San Marzano tomatoes in this extra raised bed with the reclaimed wood. And it looks like they just started to think about putting some flowers on. So pretty excited about that. These guys look really fantastic over here. I really like the red cages now that I have them. Matter of fact, one of my viewers said that maybe the red cages would help attract even some more pollinators. So if that's the case, hey, I'm all for it. And then on this side of the yard, you know, my thorned blackberry bush still hasn't broke its buds yet, but there you go. Good look right there. It's getting ready to break its buds, but it still hasn't. And then on my thornless blackberry, you can clearly see here, guys, we've got some beautiful looking blackberries coming in on this one. So I'm super excited about that. My Thompson seedless grapevine is really starting to take off now. You can see how big it's getting. Now there's 3 different ones here, and I've trained the vines on some string, and they're getting really filled out. I know it takes about 30 to 40 days from the time they break their buds to, if they're going to produce grapes, you'll start seeing some grape clusters come in, or at least some flower clusters. And so these have been broken for about 2 or 3 weeks. So probably in the next couple weeks as well, we'll see a lot more action on these. Got a few miscellaneous snap peas down here. I'm trying to hedge my bets, put them all over the yard. And got a watermelon plant down here and a watermelon plant down here. I just got these out 4 days ago. And I'll tell you, looks like possibly, and I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but it looks like we might have a watermelon fruit set. That looks like it's gonna hold. Over here I planted my Fresno Peppers, and we've got several that came up. I have a secondary red potato patch, some fingerling potato patch over here, so that's exciting. Got a few more watermelons over here. It stays pretty wet, gets a lot of sun, and we've got some flowers on it, so I'm hoping that these guys take. This is where I grew the Charleston Gray last year, and it did fine. Strawberry patch, guys, is doing pretty good. Matter of fact, you can clearly see how many fruit sets we got on here. Nice little cluster right there. As well as back here. down over there. I mean, they're everywhere. I could show you all of them, but we got a lot of strawberries coming in. Got a couple of more cantaloupes climbing up over here. And then I took one of my propagated avocado branch and brought it outside, and we'll see how it holds out here. And then in my custom built greenhouse, let me show you what I got going on in here, guys. This is housing all of my Heirloom Brandywine tomato plants. I use that jug with some holes on the bottom just to give it a little bit of water when it needs it. Several plants in here. I think since my last update, I added this back panel and a few more that I had in the greenhouse. That's why the ones outside are darker green. The ones in the greenhouse in those small pots are just begging to get out, and they're out here now. Been out here for a few days, so they're doing pretty good. But I did want to show you on these guys. We've got some beautiful looking tomato sets. These are the ones I showed you. They were really small, just started to set last time. We got one there. Got another one down there. And we've got another one over here. Also in here I have one of last year's kiwis coming back and a few cantaloupes that I put out here early that just aren't growing like those other ones are.
Well, there you go, everyone. That's everything I'm growing in my garden right now. Some stuff's come up, some stuff's a few weeks out from looking really good, some stuff's doing really well already. But anyway, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. And as always, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot.